Spreading knowledge, leaking seeds, sowing harvest, reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't. Really, it ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave is how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Haram or beef.
Peace and love. Welcome to our BBT Science Temple and School Saturday Adept Class with the illustrious Sheikh Kyrie. We like to welcome you in the room, and we like to, as we always say, share love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This is not a debate environment. This is not a cantankerous environment. We share love, and we like to add on. With that, we say peace and love. Islam?
Islam. Very well said. That brother y'all hear speaking is my brother from another mother, Brother Alonzo Wright Bay. We're on our Temple and School page on YouTube at Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. We also on StreamYard. So if you ever want to join us, my info is in the bio and just going across the bottom. You're more than welcome to join us if you're coming in peace. But Noble Alonzo, today is a glorious day. You know that, right? And you know what's in the dark always come to the light. And it was just ironic. I have to share this piece. I put it in my text stream. I told you, my brothers and sisters, when people try to act like, or it's a group of people that play like they don't know. I put it in the text stream, Noble Alonzo, and you can go back and look at the Masons doing a call of prayer Islamically. Did you see that, right?
Islam.
Did you see that, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm just asking you. I mean, look, he's smiling.
Listen, last thing they learn, first thing we learn, where we find Allah is in the heart. Come on.
And so when people be coming, and I told my brothers and sisters, I love all my brothers. Let's make that clear. But I told people, I said, it's gonna come out. Why? Because we are in the new world order. Somebody say, what you mean, Sheikh? Technology, recording. Because to say 20 years ago, that wouldn't have been recorded and put on Facebook for everybody to see. No, that wouldn't have been recorded because that's something sacred. That's a national convention. That's a national convention. And you had Masons, all different groups from all different areas. And then I tell y'all, the PHO and the PHA, they still be begging, no disrespect to no one, the other man to accept their charter. They did it in Mississippi. And them brothers in Mississippi said, nope. They said, nope. And so I'm telling people, but then and secretly, they practice in Muslims. Is that ironic? Because if they weren't practicing Muslim, why would you do the call of prayer Islamically for the whole group? They ain't get up there and do no Lord's Prayer. No, let me down and sleep. They ain't do that, did they?
No, sir.
I'm just asking all my Masonic brothers. Now it's time to come to the light, and you able to see that for yourself. So you can ask those that's out here acting like they don't know what we're talking about. Let's keep it 100. This science, what we teaching is righteous. People just took it and twisted. I'm telling you, man. Now, the writings on the fez is symbolic. The scimitar, the crescent, the star, the Asiatic woman, all that is symbolic. You have to understand that. But when others use it in a certain fashion, just like the swastika, something good can be used for a whole different meaning if you're not hip to what's going on.
Indeed.
And so you get lost in mistranslation. Man, it's a new day, man. That's all. That's all I tell Moors. That's righteous, man. When you righteous, all this is gonna come to the light. I mean, I tell people this all day. I said, man, listen, man, this science is not to be doing no crazy stuff. If you rocking with someone that's righteous like myself, we gonna show the teachings. I tell everybody, if this was so good, why isn't it shared for the young people? Because all my other man masons, they have their junior. It's a certain vernacular that they use, and they teach their young men. They come up in the wisdom. If this was so good, I'm just asking my Masonic brothers and sisters, because I love y'all. I love them all. But I said this was just proof. This was just proof in the pudding, put in the face of a people be like, wait 1 minute. Because I know a Masonic brother, Noble Alonzo, that went to Flint Northern with me, graduated a couple years ago. He's a Mason, and he preach in a Christian church. He preach a whole different message. And then you at the convention, and they giving the Islamic prayer, like, wait a minute, like that. So you teaching separate. As you get to a little bit more understanding of wisdom, a little bit more, you knowing what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So how can you preach a different gospel? No matter if you in the church or not, you still should preach a illuminating gospel. So I'm gonna teach something different to y'all secretly and get on here and teach a total different gospel to a group of people. That to me is wrong. Noble Alonzo.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I don't have to talk about nobody individual or what. Y'all saw it for your own eye. This is what I tell y'all. This is the confusion. Why? You just saw it. And then a lot of people go back scattered and be, no disrespect, in the Christian church teaching a whole different message. But in the lodge, you practicing Muslims. What's up with that?
Yeah.
I just have to fire it off like that. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Indeed.
I knew it was going to happen. I told everybody, and this was in Florida. This was in my home state. I should have went. I should have just popped up and recorded everything live, you know? Because when I be telling people, they be like, yeah. I be like, man, I know you went. Well, how you know? Man, stop playing with me. I know people that know people that know people that'll be like, look, Sheik, everything you be saying be true. Look, like on Minister Society, put the tape in. Put the tape in. I'm telling you. And it'd be no disrespect to no one. I'll be like, I told y'all, who's sitting up here telling us a different science? You don't go to no other man school. You don't go to no other man church. You don't do no other man stuff. And that's facts. You go to wherever you go where the people look like you. And most of them people in there are Masons. Most of them preachers are Masons. Them old preachers, they Masons. With all due respect, my mama know, my dad know, my dad an elder, my dad 80, my mom 75. My mother go to a church because she likes seeing her friends. You know, my mother's into the science. She fellowship. One day I took my mother to church. I said, oh, Ma, the old Mason preacher finna preach. She like, how you know? I said, look on the back of his car. Yeah, got the Prince Hall thing on there. She was like, damn, son. I said, I'm telling you. I said, they preaching a different gospel. That's why I wear the compass and square with science, and I stand strong because I know what it's about. I keep telling y'all, you have to judge. Look at me and look at that. I can't be with nothing that's not right. If I'm on here telling you the truth and I stand amongst it, this is what I be telling people. I said, there's no disrespect to no one. That's why I'm not accepted in a lot of church houses. And I tell y'all, but the other man love me. Why? Because they sons of Muslims, Noble Alonzo. I keep telling people, this is the technology that fell upon us. People be acting like, oh man, or I know the other man is. Man, I'm academia. People be forgetting. Before they met me, and I graduated from Grand Canyon University with a dual master's degree, a Christian university, talking like this, wearing affairs every day, Noble Alonzo, turban, everything as a man. This is what I'm telling us. And they all Masons. Them blew my mind. It ain't blew my mind. This hasn't blown my mind. I've been telling y'all this, and I've been righteous for day one. I said, watch. I said, I'm going to show y'all that they all practicing Muslim on the side. Tell me I'm lying, Zoe.
Yes, sir.
And that's with respect and with love. So when brothers and sisters be talking about why this and why that, the other man gonna always, he gonna tell it. I told people, This is the new world order where we can judge things. We are in the technology world. And that's all I wanted to share from love with my brothers and sisters. For you can get all that hate and get all that other man, this and that and the other. Don't no other man have no power over you. You ain't doing no other man nothing. Stop giving that other man, or the other man is. Man, you ain't even dealing in that. You don't deal with nothing like that.
You know what it is? That's on top of that, it's paramount that the light come on. And it's time. It's due time. It's just we behind time in a sense if whatever we classify as time. But we are in a place and space where, man, like you said, Sheik, these things have been revealed. I mean, our holy prophet took the whole veil off the secret societies. We talking about 1920s. You know what I mean? Like, for real. So we don't need to be playing no games. We got to call it like we see it.
That's all.
It is.
I'm like, hold up, brothers. I'm like, hold up. I like I said, come on. I said, wait a minute. I said, wait one, whoa. I said, hold up, Alonzo. I said, hold up, for real. I'm looking just like you. I'm laughing and I'm smiling, but then I'm smiling and laughing at the same time because I said, wait a minute. I know you. It don't matter if you preaching in the Christian church. You can preach science. Farrakhan preached be in the church giving a message. Mm-hmm. But what you promulgating is something different than your understanding in the lodge. Why? Because in your gathering with your Mason brothers, you were practicing Muslim. Why? Because y'all all there doing a call of prayer Islamically, and all y'all rehearsing it. Man, well, am I tripping? And it's no disrespect. And I tell people, I said, this is what we need to. And I said, I didn't have to go get no begged, with all due respect, other man to accept my charter and my fraternal order. Why? Because I did the same thing the prophet did. I have the right. When you have the right, I can establish anything just like anybody else if you do it the right way. Anything can be done the right way. If you're righteous, who say anybody can stop me from doing anything that anybody have done in the world? No one. No one. Articles, everything, just like any other establishment. We just like any other establishment that's established. Who? Our organization, our fraternal order, our brotherhood is established like any other organization that got all its rights and privileges. How? Just like any other. Name one. You feel me? Name one. Real talk. If we want to go somewhere and say we want to petition something and be armed with our security, all we got to do is get a permit. And our Mufti with Allah can come in that state and say, we want to do a parade on such a day. We're doing the Moorish American parade. We're going to be armed, wah. If I have my armed security, all we have to do is get a permit. And we can walk down the street armed. I tell you. So this is the stuff I'll be trying to tell people, where we cannot diss everything and give our science away, then look at others and say they are the ones and they are the gatekeepers. No. It's brothers like myself, like Brother Alonzo and Moso and other brothers that understand the science, that have all different backgrounds and coming together and being able to build something with all y'all. Because clearly, I told y'all, man, something wrong. And I knew it was going to happen. Had my dad cracking up. I showed my dad that, my dad laughing, Noble Alonzo. Because see, my dad was into the science. Man, when I was young, I used to go to the temple with my dad and eat the dang old veal and potatoes and stuff right at the corner. And my dad got out of it when it was time for them to vote for one of their brothers to be governor. And my dad voted for him, and none of the other Masonic brothers voted for their own brother. Talking about he was arrogant. Man, that blew my dad top. He'd come down here and tell you, blew his mind. He was like, what the hell is wrong with these brothers? So what I'm telling you, and my dad was like, you right. And he laughing when he saw them doing the prayer Islamically, because a lot of those Masons to be so hardcore against Islam and this and that and the other, because I seen a lot of them. And then you at the national convention with doing the Islamic prayer, and oh man. No disrespect. I just had to start off like this, y'all. That I promise you, because I was share. I just wanted to share some introductions of some things, but I just had to start off like that. And like I said, I love everyone. I'm not coming, no disrespect. If any of my brothers that's in the city of Flint, y'all know I love y'all. I see y'all every day. Y'all see me walking down the street. I be recording. I'm out. It's what it is. But now what? Man, don't come to me talk about, can I talk to you in private, Sheik? No, sir, Bob. You're gonna have to stand strong on it like you was standing a couple of days ago before this right here. You can't even erase it. You're gonna have all the stuff that you were saying that this, that, and the other, and what y'all don't teach and what y'all don't know. Now you gotta stand on it. So you're gonna have to diss all them brothers. You're gonna have to diss all that. See, and you can't. I told you. Oh, that's sad. That's sad, man. That's sad. Now go ask your pastor that. That's amazing. Ask him. Say, Pastor, did you make the Grand Convention in Florida this year? What you talk about? What you talk about? Hey, Alonzo. A lot of the preachers are Masons. Most of them are Prince Hall Masons because they're not Scottish Rite Masons. I know a few scattered Scottish Rite Masons, but they Prince Hall Masons, and they don't even know where the Hall family come from. No disrespect to no one. Once again, we can reveal a whole bunch, and that's why this is the trigonology. And it's no disrespect to no one. I ain't talking about the comedic science that we have. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about what these people try to throw in and out your face, and they all of them were practicing Muslims. What y'all think stolen legacy about? What y'all think all the presidents was about when they putting their hand in their chest and they got it hidden? And you think that just ironic? All the people, they were standing like that was just supposed to do back then. That's the gangster code. Are you lost your marbles? Alonzo my noble already said things that's been revealed. Think about what he said. What the prophet already revealed this. We pulled the veil on all this secret stuff. That's why the prophet said you don't have to have your affairs defiled per se. You don't have to. We ain't dissing people because C. Freeman L. wore his fez with all the symbology on it. He was teaching you the truth, but the prophet said you don't have to. Why? Because it ain't nothing secret. It's sacred. Why? Because I can't take the veil off all that. I can't take the veil off all that. What? And hold the mirror up. What? The mirror, what you look, this science is about you. That's what this is about. If you don't understand those basic principles and tenets, then we can't even get to the other level. Why? Because you don't see yourself as that. You don't see yourself, and they do. What you mean, Sheik? They sons of Muslims. You call yourself a widow son. Why is that? You tell me. Just think about these things for a minute, my brothers and sisters. Why would you want to be a widow son and someone else will call themselves a son of a Muslim? You tell me. This is the science. This is the separation. These are the things that can be brought back to our remembrance. When we can't be upset at our brothers, but we can bring them out of that. How can we say, Noble Alonzo, that delusion per se? We can bring them out of that. How can we say that slumber of the mental? We can, because that's what we're supposed to do. Not with force, not with hey, but with hey. Have you thought about this? Let's look at this. Because if you down with this and you say you this and you rocking on this other side, then we have to have a conversation. Why? Because it's some knowledge that's going out, Noble Alonzo, that's not right. That's all. It's some knowledge that's going out that's not right, Noble Alonzo. I knew it. I said they all practicing Muslims. All of them. What Peter Lambert Wilson in the Sacred Drift, when he was talking about the prophet. I mean, come on, man. They all wanted to be practicing Muslims. Think about it. And when I say that on that context, I don't mean it as no Islam stuff. I mean, man, a whole nother level of the science where we can take it back to Adam Blavatsky. And Adam Blavatsky got the science from guess who? Of course, they talk about the prophet in all their teachings. Peter Moon, they talk about the prophet and Spondu Mysteries. Why you think the prophet on the cover of Spondu Mysteries by Peter Moon with all them U.S. generals back in the day? Why? Why would you think that? Because the prophet did something so strong and we only caught in a small fragment. I'm telling you, people don't understand the science and what things take to get to elite levels of wisdom and understanding. If they did, they wouldn't have these so-called secret societies, these so-called masonry groups. And I always ask my brothers, I love y'all, what's being taught in a Masonic house? You know what they say? Nothing. They got a drinking hall in the basement. No disrespect. And so that's all I clearly asked my brothers. I said, man, come on, man, let's come out of something. If it's not right, and if it is, let's sit down and build. Because nothing can be secret no more, man. What's going on with these times? Something wrong. And that's all I tell my brothers and sisters. I love all my brothers. I know Masons. I know fraternity brothers. My homeboy in a frat. You know, I always, and I always say, have you ever heard of Stephen Coakley? They don't know. And I say, another his video, what he say, the Greek is a F-R-A-U-D. They don't know nothing about that. I said, have you ever heard of Stolen Legacy? They don't know nothing about that. So I know the majority of them clearly cannot know anything about nothing pertaining to nationality. No disrespect to no one. And how do I know? Because I know. You could talk to any of them, unless a lot of them can't, unless you came out of that, but it's rare. And so you got to look at a brother. You got those two orders with one type of soldier like this, and you got two brothers from the same home per se that's kind of blind. It's easy to be separated, man. I knew it. I told brothers. I said, man. I said most of these people are Masons, and I said I told people. I said most of these people are Masons. Most of the old ones are Masons. And if they Masons and they on that certain level, they practicing Muslims. Why? Y'all just seen it. So now everything that we talk about, that we share here at the BBT, should be illuminated. Not telling you what to believe when we say we gather to compile a plethora of wisdom. My noble Alonzo, he getting ready to put his piece of wisdom out. What I'm trying to tell people is, we have looked at and heard things and let people put stuff in our face. And we have brothers and sisters that have put things together to where it make it simple for you to get what's going on. And that's why we say we welcome y'all, because we've written a lot of pamphlets. I was inspired by my muftis to write a plethora of pamphlets. My muftis was inspired by me to write a plethora and a wisdom to put it down. Why? Because that's what we encourage here at the BBT. Why? Because we're a school. And brothers have so many gifts and things. And I say, man, no, our mission is what? To write the vision and make it plain. So that's what we're doing here and making it available for the people. This is something that lasts longer than you and I, Noble, Alonzo. And the beautiful thing is now, we self-authors. We publish our own literature. What you mean? Why? Because we can. That's why. That's why when I say, when you understand and when you get into a certain level, you don't have to explain anything to anyone. You understand? Why? Because you everything that you want to be. You are your likeness. You are your likeness. You see what I'm saying? And so when we talk about this science and how we base these things now at the BBT, when we tell people at the BBT, we're not here to diss nothing. We understand all the three religious rites per se, the Paraclete, the Fatimid, and the Jerusalem per se. We have a manual that we were inspired, I gathered and compiled with the influence and the love and the help of my brothers and sisters and the anointing. It's called the Divine Pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle and the Moorish Salat. And I'm just going to go through a couple pamphlets that I put together, and then my noble Alonzo, if he want to touch just on the preference of what he's getting ready to put out there. I'm also going to put out one of my brother's catalogs as a book, Brian Hicks Bay, What is Moorish Islam? He put that together a long time ago, but he's busy right now. He's a father. So I said, well, I'm just going to step up for you and go ahead and put it out and, put it together. Why? And make sure you get, that's how we do. That's how we do at the BBT. You feel me? That's how we do at the BBT. So I'm gonna be putting that out real soon after me and my noble Alonzo go over some things with his book and his literature that he's getting ready to put out, and he can just give you a little summary of that as I go through the intros of my books. Or if you want to go first, noble Alonzo, or if you want to, however you want to do it.
No, Sheik, I'll wait. You can go first, Sheik.
Okay. Well, gratitude. Well, like I said, one of the first books, man, I put together is the divine pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle and the Morris Salah, with the influence and the gratitude and the honor with my muftis, you know, and just a little preference because I'm not going to stay too far in it. I will hope brothers get them from me. You can get them from us as like ebooks, you know, or PDF on your tablet. Okay, I got you. On your tablet, or we can print and bind them for you for a small price if we have to ship them. If you want to. If not, it's all good. But this, it starts off as the scientific introduction to the divine pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle, including the Mor Salat or the Selawat, however you pronunciate it. It's fine with me. But I'll give an introduction, and it goes: scientific study will illuminate to the student that when you use certain names like Yahweh or Elohim, which pertains to God, the creator of this stellar and ecclesiastical universe, as stipulated in all Bibles, regardless how you feel about it, we just breaking things down, family, of the translation, a pattern that he, Yahweh Elohim, gave Moses in Mount Sinai in the year 1490 BBY, erroneously referred to as BC, right? Is by profound knowledge of the construction and operation of this divine pattern of the Messiah Tabernacle in relationship to every created object in the universe, whether visible or invisible, that will reveal the answer to every question concerning Yahweh and Yahshua, the Messiah, as it so-called is, the eternal purpose and plan. And so, just giving an introduction here at the BBT, you know, at the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, when we say we're not a church, you have to understand in the context of church, it's the people. So we love the people, but we are a school. We're here to teach. We're here to illuminate, to bring things back to our remembrance. That's what this is too. That's what these teachings are for. Of research, founded with the ideal in mind to delve into every branch of science according to the pattern of the tabernacle. Just like in Morris science, what is the tabernacle? What is the pattern of the tabernacle? Man-made in the image of God, man-made in the image of the creator, a perfect penta, a perfect pentagram, arm, leg, arm, head. That's what man is made in the image of God, with all due respect, with no disrespect, to find the answer to every question that has plagued the student from the foundation of the world, thus proving the unerring accuracy and the the infallibility of the biblical text. So what I'm saying is, you can use these things with the right tools. It's not hard. What we have got into is doubt everything, but we don't look at things and we don't use our tools to weigh it. Why? Because influence, condition, the lack of study, you know? So I don't want to stay in that because we can talk about some other specific things. But here at the BBT, we do have aims. I'll break down a couple aims, and a couple aims if you on our YouTube channel, we got it on there. You say supreme beings and those who come in groups of 50. But we always say to illuminate to the student, to find, to know your creator inside and that really exists. You can look at Matthew 24:4, just for people that want to look up things. But a lot of my favorite aims, I just like to go over 2 because we got 10. I'm not going to go over all 10. But our aim number 2 is to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood of humanity in the creator, whatever you call it, Yahshua the Messiah, etc., without distinction of race or nationality, creed, sex, caste, or color. Acts chapter 17:26, Ephesians 5:23, verse 33, and Acts 10:34. So I don't want to stay all in those. You know, I don't want to stay in all those. We have a lot more, you know, But also, we have a little chapter where we talk about etymology, and it refers to the derivation and how can I say the understanding of words. And when we talk about Hebrew words or etc, and when we say Hebrew names of the creator or Yahweh per se, when we say, well, okay, that can be described from the Technogrammaton, the YHWH, and not saying that's the original this or the original that, but we're just gonna break things down in context. And the A and the E added to transliterate is pronounceable in English language. Some people use the analogy, the A is the Adam, the E is the Eve, and then it can be used a certain way. Yeah, okay, we get that, but whatever. Pronounceable in the English language, the inevitable name Yahweh per se, denounce that He is the ultimate source and substance, the limits and bounds of everything, both visible and invisible. The Yah denotes masculine and the way denotes feminine. So we don't want to stay too far in that. I want to break a couple things down. And so when we get to a little topic of when we talk about the Moors Salat per se, and when everybody be like, I always tell people, please listen. Don't put my noble Alonzo in a box, and just because you may have seen something like that, that's just like you dealing in a relationship and somebody broke your heart, and you're gonna say, well, I ain't dealing with misnomer black women no more. Why? Because one broke my heart. Well, that's you. I'm gonna look for a better love, because I'm still looking for that same type of love, but it got to be right. Am I right about that? I know.
Islam.
So when we get to the Moors Salat per se, we're talking about that us at the BBT, we always give praise to Allah, praise to all that, We can say a minimum of 3 times a day. Now watch this, because I don't have a problem with nothing else, but listen clearly. Even a student may give praise or go to Allah in prayer anytime the student feels the need. But here at the BBT, we teach and we understand any member to do so 3 times daily. Once when you wake up in the morning, in the middle of our day, and once before we go to sleep at night. That's on, and I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm just explaining when people ask me. I say, well, let me explain. Is there some religious Muslims? Absolutely. And they have stated that this is not orthodox, the way to perform a salat. And I say, absolutely. Or rakat, a shada, or a dua, or anything else. But once again, if people listen to me, I say how Muslims, how we do it, how nobles, how we do it at the BBT, the things we do is not the orthodox way. That's why we're able to go any house. That's why my noble Alonzo can go to any house and stand strong. This is what I keep telling people. That's what I teach. I say, why? Because we are the science. We can go anywhere. We can go anywhere in any house that is going on. Why? And know how to contextualize the teachings. Why? Because that's who we are. I'm trying to tell people, man, we do things the right way, according to the Holy Quran, the Al-Quran of Mecca. When you go through the Holy Quran of Mecca, the great Quran of Muhammad, ayat 1587, for all my Masons, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And show the student why we only do 3, even though I don't have an issue with no Moors or no one doing the 5 traditionals, salats, that's done in the so-called East. No disrespect. We can break it all down. I tell people they be on the wrong thing. You got to understand that the 5 daily salats are part of tradition, meaning they're not actual law. 5 per se. They do not have to be performed according to the Quran with the K or the Q. And the Quran only mentions 3 periods of time of prayer. The Quran does not state that the student must perform a ritual, a qiyam or ruku or a qiyam, a sada or a jalsa or none of those. The 5 or the 7 pillars is not found in the Quran. No disrespect. All of this tradition, not law. The salat of one Muslim may differ from another in minor detail, which can affect the precise actions and words involved. because there's different interpretations of the so-called Islamic legal sources by the different Mahdis, the schools of law in Sunnah Islam, by different legal traditions in Shia, in Shiism, or in Shiism, excuse me. And some Muslims believe that the Prophet Muhammad practiced, taught, and disseminated the worship ritual in the whole community and made it part of their life. No disrespect. But remember, as we break it down, the basic form of this type of prayer or this salah is not based on the hadith or the Quran, but on the conscious and or just on that certain so-called Muslims' perspectives. Remember, man, it's no disrespect. Muslims believe that the Prophet Muhammad practiced, taught, and it does not say an actual record of this, which is why the salat varies from one another. The basic form of salat is not based on a hadith or the Quran. And the numbers of regular salat mentioned by respective names in Arabic in the Quran are 3. You know, it's salat farj per se, the dawn prayer, ayat 24 and 58, the salat al-wusta, the middle prayer, ayat 2 and 238, 17 and 78, the salat isa, the night and the evening prayer, ayat 24 and 58. And when the student, and when you study these ayats, the student can see no specific way of performing the salat. And there is no mention of how to make a rakat, which is a ritualized ruku. And the word rakat is only speaking of a ruku, not a qiyam, not a sajah or a jalsa. And the salats are mentioned in the Quran by their names as a salat in Arabic, a salat dura, salat asr per se, a salat maghrib. And maghrib does not mean sunset. It means west in this context. No disrespect, and some students debate the word dhuhr or the dhuhr per se, and the asr per se, the asr and maghrib are used in the Quran, but not as the term defining of salat. The word noon is used, but not as a salat time or a salat al-dhuhr, excuse me, but rather than a time of privacy. It's a time of rest. That's why my noble Alonzo say what? We understand what you're doing. We just said, man, in our science, we teach that man is made in the image of the creator. So what? This is the rest time. For who? For Alonzo. Ayat 24 and 58. Read it for yourself. Just read it. Just read it. And people be like, oh man, we tripping. No, you're not. You just ain't having nobody like myself or my brother to be like, well, wait a minute, it's right here in your face. I'm not coming outside of something that you don't parade with under your arm. Come on, man. This is illumination. That's why I say this is a good day. This is a good day for all my Masonic brothers. The salat, that's a time of rest. And that's it. Establish regular prayers at the sun's decline till the darkness of the night, and the morning prayer and reading for the prayer in the morning carry their testimony. Establish worship at the going down of the sun until the dark of night, and the recital of the Quran at dawn. The recital of the Quran at dawn is every witness. Perform the salat, the al-salat, listen to this, to descending of the sun, the al-shamshi, to the darkness of the night, the al-layli, and the Quran in morning, the al-farji. Verily, the Quran in the morning and the al-farji will be that which is witnessed, the mashwudan. But watch this, y'all. The word duluk, the D-U-L-U-K, means to rub and represents when the sun is rubbing the horizon and sunset. The Quran only tells the student to perform, which some translate as established, and the salat at the descending of the sun. This is the late afternoon, and after the sun will at its highest and is headed down to set, nobles, and the darkness of the night. This would also be considered the wusta, aka the middle, when you are standing. When you are standing, the kumu or the kumum, the Q-U-W-M-U. The morning is used primarily for reading the Quran. What am I saying, y'all? I'm telling you, be guardians of your prayers and of midmost prayer, and stand up with devotion to Allah. And stand up to devotion with Allah. Listen clearly. Attend constantly to prayers and to the middle prayer, and stand up truly obedient to Allah. And stand up true obedient to Allah. Protect the hafdith, or the hifda, or the salat, the al salat, and the salat, which is the al salat of the middle, the al wusta, and stand to, toward, before, facing Allah, without speaking. Huh? And in this context, brothers and sisters, the salat is done how? Standing. And if the student will remember, it's mentioned of other forms of position of praise, respect, such as the shada or the shada, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, S-A-J-D-A-H. You know, I got that gullah, so it might not sound right, but that's prostrating. That's prostrating. And the ruku, what? Which is bowing. But here it specifically notes that the al-salat, my brothers and sisters, is done how? Standing before Allah. How? In silence. That's how. And meditate on this. In our Holy Moorish Quran, chapter 11, when speaking of the Elohim, you can't tell me no different. Come on, man. Come on. Who you believe? Come on, man. So I don't want to stay too far in that, man, because it's in there. There's so much more illuminated in this small little fragment that we put together at the BBT. We show you how chapter 1 and chapter 11 of your Moorish Quran, how they quite comparable, how they mirror each and illuminate the mutual commentary and understanding of the other. Watch this, how chapter 1 speaks of the 3 planes, spirit, soul, manifest, and chapter 11 speaks of the 7 planes, which is the angels, the cherubim, man, beast, plant, earth, protoplasm. That's why when I talk about the Sephirots, I can connect all this. When I talk about the Miserat, we can connect it all. Chapter 1 speaks of Allah. Chapter 11 speaks of the true in Allah and the 7 Elohims. Chapter 1 speaks of the one thought of Allah, his thought of man. And chapter 11 speaks of what? The 7 ether planes of experience, literally teeming with unique thoughts of Allah that are other than man, that will unfold into perfection of his own kind and 9 others. Look at this wisdom. Chapter 1 speaks of the carnal nature that sprang forth from the soul experience of sensation through the vehicle of the flesh. And chapter 11 speaks of man's sluggish well-being, the catalyst of and the rise of carnal nature being the result of the fall. As in our original state, all creatures on all planes sustain, nourish our bodies via what? Breathing. Yet the fall caused the stronger manifest to get nourishment indirectly via devouring, weaker manifest. I mean, we have a lot of wisdom in these small diagrams, man. You know, we talk a little bit about the fez. You know, when people would look at my noble Alonzo, and I always tell people, why are you afraid to wear your fez? What have you done? What group have you been a part of? Oh, you've been out here, you've been on that conscious community stuff. I mean, I'm a dark sheep of the family. Why? What that mean? Tell me what the dark sheep of the family mean, because I ain't. Well, I'm the dark sheep of the family. I done got it to this on, man, and everybody crazy. No, don't put that on everybody. You just got that now. What you got on your head, it don't represent what it represent when Alonzo got it on. What it represent when a person that don't have no wisdom, dunce. Dunce. No disrespect, and you have a beacon on. That's why I said it's just like any type of history and anything that's going on. You have to know the individual that represents something. You can't judge no one by what's common to man, because a lot of those things should be common to us. It's just not common to a lot of individuals. And then you have to judge everything by the fruits. You have to judge everything by the fruits, you know? And so I'm not going to break nothing down too far in the Fez book. It's a good piece of wisdom. You know, we also have something, the Sufism and the triple rows of the Adapt Chamber, where we break just some basics down. Because I always want people to know basics. I said, man, don't jump out there and then be like, man, I should have learned the basics first. Yes. Stop getting with all that trickery, man. I'm just showing you this is a brotherhood. We can build something up just like others have. We can build something up solid. We can build something up that nobody can stop. And we close. We just need the rest of y'all. I'm telling you. So when we talk about, I'll give a little bit of the Sufism and the triple role of the adapt chamber, featuring the Comedic and Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. This just a little preface of some stuff, that we put together. When brothers and sisters be asking, a lot of people ask me to put manuals together. So I said, why not? Had to get some libations. But anyway, so when we talk about the adapt chamber per se, our adapt chamber ain't no phone call with, I was on a phone call with such the Sheik, Grand Poobah of the Flintstones, and we were on the phone for 3 weeks, and we went through the adapt chamber. Man, stop. And it's always some form of rhetoric. Yeah, man, I was on the phone with Sheik, Grand Poobah from her and the Flintstones, and I went through the adapt chamber on the phone. With all due respect. So when I say adapt chamber, when it comes to some sense of the matter, we're talking about these so-called religious rites, this so-called third paradise, and we reveal its inner triple science, triplicity, in announcing the formation of 3 orders or degrees within itself. And what do people be saying? What do people be saying? It's 3: the Fatimid, the Jerusalem, and the Paraclete. The Fatimid, the Jerusalem, or the Paraclete. And so I'm not going to break them both down or nothing, but it's nothing wrong with a clear understanding, because we don't gravitate to one science where we miss the essence of the rest. We don't. Like I said, we're not here to argue. We're just here to show you, and we can illuminate things when people say they don't know. Yes, they do. It's been illuminated. Now we're going to teach it and show you that it is things that can be connected. When we talk about the essence of so-called not secret but sacred path of Sufism, and when we always say peace in this context of Islam, it's constantly linked by a lot of things as bad. But when we talk about the inner side of so-called Christianity, Judaism, so there is to Islam. The sub-Saharan tradition has always acted to counterbalance the forces of dogmatism and dry formalism, consisting the inner core of Islam. It has been celebrated by the greatest Muslim poets and sages of Al-Hallaj and the Arabi and Karnami, Rumi, and Hafiz. So when we talk about mystics of Islam per se, when we always say, because everyone has the right to be who they are, and that's what I tell all religious people, don't do that, man. That's why we're here in the States. If you're at a level of science, or if your level of ism is where it's at, then be okay with that. And then say, man, you're willing to learn. But if you're not willing to learn, don't stop no one else from learning. When we go into this inner science, because we remember we're building here. We're building a perfect penta. That's why we say we don't attach ourselves to any particular creed exclusively, so that you disbelieve all the rest. Otherwise, you will miss much that is good, right? Indeed, you will fall, or you will fail to see real truth. And the creator, the God per se, the omnipotent and the omnipresent, is not contained by any one creed. Remember, with all due respect, in this context, it says in your Quran, wherever you turn, there is the face of Allah. And the mysticism or the esotericism, called in Arabic the tasawwuf of Islam, is today identified with us Sufis, a word commonly thought to come from an Arabic suf, meaning wool, after the rough woolen robe worn by early Muslim mystics. But on the contrary, there are several Muslim communities, such as the Ismailis, the Carmanians, the Alawites, and the Druids, who derive their doctrines and practices from the Islamic esotericism. So I don't want to talk about too much of that, but we have it in here, Remember, let me break a little piece of science down. a Sufi tradition relates how the seeds of Sufism were sown in the time of Adam, fermented in the time of Noah, budded in the time of Abram, and began to develop in the time of Jesus, and produced pure wine in the time of Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad and Jesus are revered as the greatest Sufis. Sufi masters like Ibn Arabi and Suwardi studied Plato and Pythagoras, but you know where they studied from? Declaring the pagan sages to be Sufis. So if they were swearing that the pagan sages to be Sufis, where you think those pagan sages learned from? Now you got to go back to Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to connect you. And you're going to be like, well, wait a minute, if they were looked at as pagans, well, where did they get the science from? Think about it. And they were took out. Why? Because they went back to the area and they were going to get to the church. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Come on, man. Somebody got to be saying Islam. Somebody got to be saying Islam. Because I pull it all out. I talk about all of them. When people say, our prophet got stuff from Adam Blavatsky. Nope. You got it wrong. It's easily explained. In Egypt during the 1800s, Madame Blavatsky studied Sufism, Coptic Christianity, and the Druze order, which she described as the last surviving of the archaic wisdom, claiming to be a student of her master, Serapis Bey, who in Cairo, Madame Blavatsky met Jamal bin al-Afghani, an outstanding Muslim thinker, radical political leader, and Sufi teacher. She also traveled widely, often in Muslim dress, in the company of Albert Rawson, who would later write an account of his initiation by the Druze for Blavatsky's book, Isis Unveiled. So when people be coming to me, I say, man, I'm just giving you a preference. And Rawson was one of the founders. Now here, this the catching of Alonzo, because we got him again. Listen what he say. He was one of the founders of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. But then we got the document showing you who was the order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. Y'all got you got it. Pathfield from who the Moors was, and then you look at the year of theirs, and you look up the year of the brothers, and our science is way older than that. You know, because you already hearing where they got it from. I mean, come on, you already seeing where they got it from. If Plato was taught as that, they went and learned where? Egypt, because it stolen legacy. So I hope it's connected. A so-called secret society incorporating principles and symbols drawn from Islamic mysticism. So once again, all these, now we can go back, let's reverse. What you saying, Sheik, all these Europeans and these brothers that act like it's a secret, they practicing Masons, you heard exactly what I said. I'm telling you, I hope you're listening. He also wrote favorably about Gnosticism and called for a new church of what? Humanity that should be broad and comprehensive, embracing many diverse elements, all working together for the common good. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we do here at the BBT, revealing to ordinary people the extraordinary attributes of their own nature by amplifying before them the transcendent heights and depths of the human soul. See, that's what we're doing. You know? So we ain't here for all that. That's why I tell people, stay in context. I ain't here to debate with nobody. That's why we're here to have a good conversation and stay in context. I'm not here for none of that stuff nobody talking about. I love everyone. People can feel about anything and stay out of context and say things. That shows the aptitude of us, Even people that's familiar with Madame Blavatsky and G.I. Gurdjieff. Few are aware, listen to this, y'all, of the mystic teacher who is credited with laying the foundation for the spread of Islam among misnomer Black Americans. You know who it is, Noble Alonzo? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Who? Say it. Say it. Say it. Watch. Come on. We're having a great time. I told y'all, we done put it together. Who? Noble Drew Ali. What you mean? They get credit to the prophet. Why? Because in the 20th century, Noble Drew Ali, born Timothy True, the so-called self-taught son of misnomered former Blacks. We just giving specific. They say he took a job as a merchant seaman and found himself in Egypt. And according to one legend of Noble Drew Ali, traveled around the world, blah, 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 blah. We know all that. But you see, they giving credit to Noble Drew Ali, you know? And they say he got a mandate, but we ain't staying and all that. We ain't going all that. At the pyramid of Siaphis, he received initiation and took the Muslim name Sharif Noble Abdul Ali. In America, he was known as Noble Drew Ali. This what they saying. On his return to the United States in 1913, he founded the Moorish Science Temple of America to uplift humanity by returning the nationality, divine creed, and culture to persons of Moorish descent in a Western hemisphere. Now, you got to remember, even before our prophet, because I love our prophet Noble Drew Ali, but you got to remember, we had Moors before that. What you mean, Sheik, you dissing the prophet? Listen here, man, I love all great men. Just like if Alonzo had an uncle or something, or a granddad, or his father, that was a great man that did these things. And I said, well, wait a minute, man, now hold on. I said, before the prophet, which I love, we had Alonzo uncle, which was Deuce Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What are we talking about? We had Alonzo uncle, Deuce Muhammad Ali. Alonzo uncle, that was a great man, where people got inspiration from, where people got inspired to do certain things. With other great men, Marcus Garvey, other people, all people was inspired, XYZ of these men. Abdul Hamid Solomon, when people be trying to separate good men, I said, no, man. So we give credit to that. And that's why we don't argue with no one, you know? Remember this, y'all. I'm gonna break a little bit more down because we on the road. My homeboy said, man, keep going, Sheik. We got a little bit more because I want my Noble to talk about his book. But let me show y'all something. Okay, let me get to this part. Today, the foremost spokesman for the Moorish Orthodox Church, remember, I used a small reference, a quote in one of my books of Peter Lambert Wilson, a gifted writer, an excerpt on the mystical dimensions of Islam. And he's known for his book, The Drunken Universe Scandal, Essays in Islamic Heresy, and The Sacred Drift, right? And The Sacred Drift. And Wilson writes from experience, having spent many years living among Sufis and diverse Muslim communities in Asia and the Middle East. And this writer was first introduced to Peter Lambert Wilson's writing and made aware of the Moorish science through the acquaintance with Rashid Bey, an Austrian initiate of the Islamic esotericism, back in 1988. And then he said he corresponded to the advertisement placed in a New Age magazine by a Arabic writer, you know, and Rashid Bey spent much of the 1980s in North Africa, where he entered Islam, studied with the Sufis, you know, XYZ. So I don't want to stay too far in it, but it breaks all that science down. It breaks everything down for you, where you can get a clear understanding. Peace, Noble. And I don't want to stay all in it. I just hope you guys take a chance to get some of the literature and don't be afraid of people that can take you to another level. That'd be our problem. Just like I ask people, do they love martial arts? Because I pull out all trophies and everything. And I said, I studied Wing Chun. I studied different sciences. So why would you be mad if a brother studied different sciences and educated then to come back and be willing to teach his people? Why? Why would you feel like that? Why would you have a problem with that? That's why I tell people, if you're not here for what we're doing, there's no reason for you to be here. I tell people, don't be a bug, don't be a pest. Let's do things the right way, y'all. Watch this. And so now we're talking about add on to wisdom. These are the tools that's in the toolbox. If you're not with that and you in some old magical stuff, stay in it. Stay in it. Stay in it. That's why I be telling people, don't come with that lower energy, because we operate in our higher self. I'm not under no man. Man don't own me. Man, listen here. When we talk about the 42 path of this Moorish wisdom, we talking about a way higher science. We ain't talking about no old tradition. We ain't talking about that. If you don't understand that, that's your problem. If that's your problem. Because I told y'all, all these Masons is practicing Muslims. I just showed y'all that. So go ask your uncle. Go ask your daddy. Don't be mad at me. They playing. We are playing. And I love everyone. They know what I'm talking about. The sacred groves of the order of Maku, Sethku, or Seth, or the Kemetic Adapt manuals, and the use of our carpenting tools. You know in your Moorish Quran, right? These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought. and where we build up character. I can show you all these different symbologies that represents what I'm talking about. What we afraid of symbology, we put it together. Oh, boys, we don't do this. No, because you're not on the level. Just say you're stuck on the level. I always give analogies, just like if this was martial arts and your sensei and you and your brothers only know how to work with their hands. And then here come Alonzo as a noble, as an adapt student. Here come Alonzo coming with his skills, and he know how to work with his hands, his feet, and he know how to show you how to think with your mind, and he know show you how to clean your dojo and tie your belt. What's wrong with that? He's coming to add value too. What's wrong with us? So the group of people be stuck in a rut. So people be part of Temples Alonzo, be on my TikTok page and all that, and don't bring me to them, and don't bring me another special guest. So I got to go off to the outside and go back to Arizona, and I don't travel to the urban communities. And you got these brothers this talk, well, I'm from Temple 18, or I'm from Temple such and such, Sheik. I've been following you for 15 years, or 7 years, or 9 years. Really, sir? No disrespect. We bring in wisdom. It's in your Moorish Quran. These are the tools we use to square, to measure our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw the circles around our passions and desires. Y'all know the science. But what am I talking about? The ancient Kemetic mystery system and the tree of life. Come on. I can't stay too far in it, because I'll be doing it all day. When we talk about the 7 Kemetic principles, the principles of truth are what? 7. He who knows these understandingly possess what? The master key, before those and before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. So when we talk about the 7 Kemetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based on, we should know this. It's the what? Principle of what? Mentalism, principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, right? The principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, the principles of cause and effects, and the principle of gender, right? So we can't, it's so much. These principles that we can show you, and when we want Moors to come together, if brothers say they part of temples, and I say, what are you learning in your temple? What are you learning in your temple? And these are just manuals. These are just small manuals. We talk about the interpretation of the divine creed of Moorish Islam. We just talk about manuals. This picture right here is in Peter Lambert Wilson's book, Sacred Drift of Islam. Let me give you an insert. We just going around. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, 1925, 4 years before his death, posing formally as Prophet, Sharif, and Mason, from who was Noble Drew Ali, ? By Isa al-Mahdi. The image crumbling 1920s photograph of an American black man dressed in robe, sash, and fez, posing formally, hand on breast, like Napoleon, labeled Prophet Noble Drew Ali, 1886, 1929. To receive the meaning of his obscure and enigmatic portrait, we must rediscover a lost or secret portion of our own history. For America, history is defined for us as much by the absence and disappearance, right? As by its official presence. But its official sources describe Noble Drew Ali as the founder of the misnomer first Black Islamic sect in America. But listen to this. In truth, he was less than this. Now they're not dissing the prophet. He said he was less than this. Why? Just like you would say, well, indeed, Sheikh Khari Goodman was that, but he was less than that. Why? Because he wasn't the first. Why? Because you can name some other great men before me. We named them all, or we named some. Why? For there were misnomer Black Muslims here before him, but he was also more than this. He was a what? American prophet. He was an American prophet. He could have stepped from the pages of Melville or Ishmael Reed. A thought of Allah clothed in the flesh. Listen what they saying about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. What they say to what the prophet was, a thought of Allah clothed in the flesh, a fact, a poetic fact. And I quote, Peter Lambert Wilson, The Sacred Drift, Essays on the Margins of Islam on page 15. Come on, man. You know, we'll stop on that one right there. We got a little manual, The Moorish American Light of Ali. See, we have little basic manuals that'll keep you in the spirit. Just like we say, what else go with an hour map? We got basic manuals. Information is knowledge that should manifest into wisdom, something applicable, meaning to be used to daily living when we know or we are in the know, and subsequently this information transferred to wisdom is power. Theoretically, the absence or the lack of power is directly or indirectly attached to the lack of wisdom or insight and the ability to make righteous decisions. More should understand the importance of adapting and growing mentally, spiritually, and physically. And we must become educated and proficient, right? Educated and proficient, right? In different areas of science and business in order to place our offsprings, our homes, in a position of thriving educationally, economically, forcing a large change in our society. And Moors cannot afford to continue to let others educate our children, teaching them pseudoscience and academia, debilitating understanding of why they need some form of applicable education. That's why it's still what? The conspiracy to destroy misnomered BLACK boys and girls. Kwanzaa Kunjufu wrote that back in the early 80s, and it's still relevant. That's why our prophet said, and I still tell my brothers and sisters, if I can just get you to think, you can save yourself. And we must believe in the capability of our group to succeed. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with standing with someone. There's nothing wrong. We don't have to always, or everything about us have to be a martyr. And we can have good men in the flesh that use these platforms for good. And then you can look at that man character, which is he's an elder, and see he got brothers standing right with him. We've been doing this for a minute. And we must understand that there is nothing wrong with desire. There's nothing wrong with passion, but the direction and focus must be centered into beneficial and righteous outcomes. One Greek pseudo-writer was quoted to have taken a student who desired knowledge out waist deep into the ocean and then asked the student, "What do you want more than anything in the world?" And the student said to have answered knowledge. Therefore, then the teacher then submerged his head under the water. Then the student began to choke. The teacher asked again, "What do you want more than anything in this world?" And the student replied, "Air." See, the lesson and the science in this is when you want knowledge, the way that the student desired air, that's when you will get it. The battle is within. The battle ain't outside. You know? It's not. We must want this knowledge and wisdom just as bad as we need this air. We must desire it. Desire this type of love for not only others, but for yourself. That's the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's the health and wealth. And then we rely on our goals and values, rely on our communities, our commitments, and uncover our true purpose. Our individual responsibility as Moors is to be knowledgeable and informed of and be a value asset to our community. Our communities, our families and friends. Moors that operate in right science must position ourselves to always be a part of finding and implementing solutions rather than be found among those who always manage to create more problems than they solve. Think about what I'm saying. And the foundation stone is set in the true knowledge of self, and every excuse is then taken away. Brothers and sisters, come on, man. Like, come on. Man's belief is rooted on the belie of an appearance, a fail to give a true notion or impression of something, disguise or contradict. And if a man would know, which we can be aware of through observation, inquiry, or information, only if we would know, he or she must himself be what we know. Come on, man. Like, we can do this all day, man. When we talk about mantras, we have mantras. What you mean, Sheikh? When we talk about maps, in the words of our prophet Noble Ali, He said he brought us everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. So when we talk about Moore's Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali mysticism, the Egyptian Adapt Prophet and Angel, watch this. This is very simple. These is manuals. The Moore's mantras and commands. Know thyself, spirit. Know thyself, soul. Know thyself, body. And if we can demonstrate your will to control your lower self through your conduct, control the principle of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then how can the Moor command the spirits of fire, earth, air, river? We must become our higher self to demonstrate this force, which is the will of Allah made flesh. And this theory is comprehensible, scientifically applicable, and universally possible. To illuminate this abilities and powers, the more the individual must understand the importance of, like Malik always say, working out, fasting the mind, purification, contemplation, and meditation. That'll guide Moors to the realization of the higher self. Study chapter 35 of our holy Moorish Quran. It's there, but I know Moors don't do it. The question may arise, what is an adapt? An adapt is a master of degrees, a master who has achieved the highest attainment and degree in the mastery of the spiritual science, the physical sciences, and life sciences, after mastering the elemental degrees, ascending to the oneness of Allah, and brings to the children of Allah. And for a Moorish adapt like myself and others, and my muftis and my brothers, to know the mantra, the command, or the words of power, or any God form, is to know how to personally commune with the creator or the goddess within. And Moorish adapts like myself and others is a spiritual master. He or she, by use of mantras, can command forth angelic spiritual beings. I'm telling you, a particular rate of vibration is attached to each individual spirit. When you may see Alonzo and you'll be like, man, it looks like a halo on his head. Yeah, that's why they put it in images and papers and in religious pictures. You think a real halo walking over their head? No, it's symbolizing that aura, because Alonzo got an aura on his head and he had a lighthouse on his head. Why? Because he's a beacon. So he's the lighthouse. So anywhere he go, people that's rocking with him is going to have to rock with him. Why? Because he's a beacon of truth. So no matter where he goes, that's an unspoken word. When anywhere, if you are more and you see my noble Alonzo in distress or out distress, you're supposed to come to him and say, peace, brother. Where you from, man? How long are you going to be here? Woo, woo, woo. Why? Because that's what that represents. Chapter 7 of our Holy Moorish Quran, a mantra and a command is not spoken as normal speech, but vibrated from the deep depth of the spirit, right? Our Moorish mantras and commands each belong to individual universal vibrations, right? And used, if correct, with the power, with the authority and the knowledge and the love that Alonzo have, and the truth, peace, and the justice that Alonzo have, and the faith and the hope and the love Alonzo have, it will manifest anything. And this process disturbs the ethers and commanding the attention of the Elohim. What do you mean, Sheikh? You got your Moorish Quran. In chapter 1 of our holy Moorish Quran, it states that what? Wisdom speaks from what? Out of the highest plane of the spirit life. Fact check me. Fact check me. 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. the morning prayer. What is it? Alonzo said we got it on shirts on our page that we sell, MoorishHaberdasher.com. It's our map. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom alaikum, I Ash'aya, peace, 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 El Rahman, El Rahim, all that good stuff. 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. noon, which is a midday. Remember, I just told you all about the 3 salats. Remember, I just broke that down in another teaching. Oh Allah, don't let me become weak of mind, nor faint of heart in the midst of the day. Oh Allah, let me not fall to temptation. Give me the strength to turn my cheek to all evil conversation and idle works and deeds. Give me the strength to continue to glorify thy name. Amen. 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. the evening, or the closing prayer per se. Allah, bend our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine creed and principles. We ask this in the holy name and the 7 Elohims. Amen. So then our Moorish American adapt prayer. Come on now. Come on, somebody work with me, man. I need to get some libations. Am I speaking okay, Noble Alonzo?
Speaking very well, sir, with a silver sun, gratitude and love.
This is my last one. Here we go. Elah, 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 I come to you in the heart of the day, across the hot burning sands of time, bearing my burden, yet I have faith, hope, and love. Give me strength to endure in the holy name, and bless my endeavors, that I may not thirst as those whom were driven from amongst men, who became debased and hid themselves in caves from your face. Forgive me of my sins as I come repenting from all evil and wicked ways of the carnal desires and things, that I may become one with Elah, a servant worthy of your blessings, as an angel amongst the sons of men. As there is no death to spirit man, I obligate myself, my earthly form, to your cause this day. If I don't keep this obligation to you, may your wrath and the sword of our ancient forefathers strike me 7 times. Amen. You know, our Moorish protection prayer. Repent, Allah is my protector by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, on the 7th and on the 10th, without saying amen until you get done with the protection prayer. Now place your right hand over your heart, facing the east. Now this is just some tradition, it's just some love. If you don't do it, that don't mean you're not worthy or you still not righteous. It don't. So stay in context. Allah, Allah, El, Holy Son of Allah. You say this going clockwise until you get back to the east. Then step back in the middle of the circle and ask Allah to protect you from whatever you are going through. And then say, amen. You got to remember the angels and their duties from chapter 1 of our Holy Moorish Quran, right? We call them the thinking things. Hear now ye what? Cherubim, the archer, the protector and the guide. Hear ye now ye seraphim, Sakul, the protector and the guide. Hear ye now angels, the prophet, right? Manifest, O protoplasm, hear, right? O earth, Michael, right? Hear now, O plant. Hear now, O time, beast. Come on, man. The ethers called these powers to be, and thought of Elohim, of angel and man, or other thinking things, direct the forces. The time has come for Moorish model for us to begin to process of personal attainment through our understanding, through our teachings. It's here for y'all, man. It's here for us to learn. We written the science, we put it together. We hope brothers support and rock with us. You know, we do, because these principles are simple. You know, even in your Moorish Quran, like in chapter 11, verse 20 and 24, the true and Allah breathed forth and stood what? 7 spirits before his face. Men called these ethers planes, the planes of protoplasm, earth, plant, beast, of man, angel, cherubim, right? So according to chapter 1, earth, air, water, and fire are spirits, and so is angels. And Allah gave man power over what? The angels to do what? Man's bidding, right? And the angels govern each one of those stations in the beginning of chapter 1, right? Come on, right? 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 Man is the will of Allah. So man can summon the angel to direct the force, power, or man can do it with his mind through meditation, contemplation, chanting. Read chapter 7 of our Moorish Holy Quran. All this stuff is old stuff that I gathered and compiled. Oh, it's nothing new. Just like our prophet gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. Just like in academia, when I did peer-reviewed scholarly research. I can take a 500-page book and can convert it to about 20 pages. Why? Because that's the skill that I acquired. Right? Chapter 35, verse 20 and 22. But he hath endued thee with reason to maintain thy dominion. He has fitted the language to improve thy society and exalted thy mind with the powers of meditation to contemplate and adore his immutable perfections. And in the laws he has ordained as the rule of life, so kindly has he united the duty to the nature that obedience to his precepts is happiness to thyself. We're talking about Allah. We're talking about this creation. Listen to this, 22. Oh, praise his goodness with songs of thanksgiving and meditate in silence on the wonders of his love. Let the heart overflow with gratitude and acknowledgement. Let the language of thy lips speak praise and adoration. Let the actions of thy life show thy love to his law. So then when we got two more, Islam. This is the step-by-step manual that comes from Allah to me to be able to format this vital science to assist some of the master adepts, the master craftsmen, because like I showed y'all, they practice in our science secretly. We are the master Masons. We are, and divine ministers. To give you just a little insight of the spiritual science and crafts that our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali brought to us for our Moorish perspective, right? You know, in the holy name of Allah, forgive us Moors for all our sins, Allah. All praise due to you, Allah, and high honors to all your holy and divine prophets and saints. Honors to the spirits of earth, air, water, and fire, and winds. Thank you, Allah, for the many blessings you have sent us. Please send blessings to all the Moors, to all the true light seekers. Please bless the foes and the adversaries that seek to do us harm, and forgive us if we harm anyone through our thoughts, through our words, and our actions or deeds. Amen. And our closing holy prayer as we close. And I give the floor to my noble Alonzo. Oh, no, we ain't ready to close yet. That's our business. Nope. So noble Alonzo, as I end with that, do you want to just give them a little bit about what you got coming out? You know, just to let the people know we on TikTok too. Like I said, we got a lot of people on here too. We got some brothers from temples and everything on here. So peace and love to y'all. Y'all need to tap in with us, man. We here.
Peace and love, Sheik. You know, by the grace of Allah, through the illustrious inspiration of Sheik Khari, you know, we are gathering and compiling and divinely preparing a lot of these literatures to enhance, you know, our community, you know, their study life. And more or less what I've put together by the grace of Allah is more on the side of, how would you say, you are the center of the world. More or less what Sheik was really highlighting and elaborating, how we can look within and see us as the microcosm and the heavenly bodies be as the macrocosm, you know, as above so below, and as the below so above. That's the framework that we work in, and I ain't going to spend a lot of time at this particular point in kind of going over the book, but soon, inshallah, you'll see this out there as we perfect it, and as we push it out there. But again, it is only by the you know, by the guidance of Sheik and our community of brotherhood that, you know, we are tasked with certain things that right now may not be clear, but we are on assignment. You know, these pieces will live on far after our physical has left this plane. So we're gonna have to make sure that the youth, you know, the generations to come understand what our prophet and what our prophets in the flesh, as myself and as others, have done and will continue to do as we look within and continue to unfold. With that, I say peace and love. I could read a real slight excerpt from the opening chapter, right? And just to give a little.
If before you do, if my phone die, man, because I don't have no power on that platform. So if I die, you know, you just go ahead and continue.
Islam. But basically, in the beginning of our spiritual journey, right, we are taught to know ourselves, to look within and recognize, you know, the divine origin and blueprint of our being, right? So this book I put together is a compilation, really taken from the foundation of the Circle 7 Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple to remind us of our true identity and our spirit, you know, a spark of the internal which rests within, right? So if God made us in his own image, right, as the esoteric philosophers interpret this to mean that the human form and consciousness were patterned after the macrocosm, right, the great cosmos, right? So in other words, each of us carries within us a divine blueprint, right? As I spoke, a microcosmic plan of the universe and the seed of our God's attributes waiting to unfold. So by the grace of Allah, we've put together these things to, again, further your studies so that way we can look deep within and begin to unfold. With that, I say peace. and love. And by Allah's grace, you will soon see this publication um, pushed out there to our community. So we thank Allah for that. And we just wanted to highlight that for a moment. Islam.
Right. Islam, man.
Islam.
Hey, no, Rolando, I jumped on. Okay, I'm finna end this one because I'm on my other platform, so I'm finna hang this one up. But I'm on still because that
Islam.
was messing up. So good. I always want to give gratitude and highlight my brothers, man, because it's a beautiful thing. And all y'all brothers and sisters on here that's on TikTok, Noble Alonzo, we got a lot of people that were saying things. It's a young brother named Super Being of Ilium. He like, I'm a young brother with a old soul elder. You know, it's some other people saying some good things. Like they hold on, let me read to you, Alonzo, and see. And
Mm-hmm.
it's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we be telling people, brothers, to come in.
Islam.
They're like these young. It's a lot of brothers on here. Like, yeah, this is the brother I'm telling you about. Blah blah blah. This and that and the other. Marquel Bay. There's other brothers. I'm like, come on, man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all brothers reach out.
Islam.
Markel Bay said Noble Alonzo. He's saying to at him Nectar, bro. This the sheep I was telling you about. He about 100% legit. You hear me?
Islam.
So if
Islam.
that's the case, come in. Some brothers say, some brothers say, make sure you follow Muslim so you don't miss no lies. You hear me?
Mm. Come on. Come on.
You know, I'm just reading some things. I ain't mean to try to hit nothing. It says, make sure you follow Mo. Mark told in El Demore. Make sure you follow Mo.
Islam.
And that's I'm just reading some things. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I like brothers come in. You know, and Markel Bay said, I'm bringing my people through Mo. Markel Bay said, I'm bringing my people through Mo. We should.
We should.
It ain't no separation here. We should. We've been standing solid day one. It's way deeper than a lot of people think.
Man.
It's way deeper. We can do everything that we want to do. We can do everything that we want to do the right way, and we
Mm.
won't. And it'll be no trouble. Why? Because it has to be done the right way. People have to remove their ego. People have to put their tools back in their pants. I'm talking about a lot of men. We
Mm.
have to misguide women when, and the ego have to be removed, and then it can happen. Why? Because we're gonna be doing tribal business. I'm telling you, we have to understand this. If you say you're doing more science, I always tell people, if you want the state booklet to see how the prophet set the temple up, I'll give it to you. Don't get caught up in the individuals because I told y'all, we don't put faith in man. When you put affairs on and you say you don't do this and this happened and you get in trouble, we're not dealing with that. But how the temple is set up is public information. How we talk about the CCRD, the county clerk, the recorder of deeds, where you can get the letter saying the 1099, it ain't no trust fund. And you can get the state booklet, how the temple is set up. We can do all these things the right way. And then once we get past that level, now we can get to what it is and what it's not. Because we shouldn't be doing nothing that'll lead anyone into a burning house. We shouldn't. We shouldn't be out here making no fake IDs or nothing. If we have school, like my noble Alonzo on here, we have temple and school ID. It don't replace nothing. The same way if you have ID for anything else, college ID. The thing is, people be falsifying things. Like we ain't got no fake driver's license. We ain't telling nobody that's going to replace this. What I know is how to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I know, and it don't replace nothing. You have the right to do these things. It's your religious right. So, say if you are navigating the right way, and you need something, uh, uh, and you need something, then you can get it in the right manifestation and do it the right way. Right?
Islam.
It's a way to do things the right way, and you navigate the right way. You have the right. Nothing has changed. We just not historical on these facts. So with all the young brothers that's Moors, and I know most of the brothers be young, and I know that a lot of brothers are radicals, you have to turn that radical stuff down to get into knowledge and get into wisdom. I'm telling you, you have to transfer that whole energy into something that's positive. You have to tune in and learn the lessons. I hear so many brothers talk about oh man, I'm backsliding, man. I used to be this, I done got back in the streets and all this. Why? Tell me why. You're supposed to be having the same analogy as you need that air.
Islam.
The same analogy, a person really trying to recover on something, you have to have those brothers to reach out to. That's why I say brothers don't have a society. Brothers don't have a fraternal order and a brotherhood. It's no accountability. It's no accountability. Brothers don't check in, but I said, come on, this is the time. My noble Alonzo right here on our stream, on our temple page, I'll be telling people, tap in, get his information. His brothers all in the States. Maso was on here the other day. The dude was talking about he from DC. My noble Maso in DC. My noble Alonzo right now in where you at, noble Alonzo?
I'm in Jersey.
Jersey. His brothers all over. I got brothers all over Sacramento. I'll travel anywhere. It's like, man, you telling us we ain't putting specific teachings together. We don't have time to be talking about a lot of other stuff. We have time to build, and we can do things. So, with that being said, man, I don't really have nothing else. But once again, I always want brothers not to get caught up in things that's not real. But if you want how the Moorish Science Temple of America was established, it is a booklet called the State Booklet, and it breaks some things down real simple. If you really want to know that the 1099 is no trust fund at the end of the rainbow, and it's just a religious affidavit, I have the letter from the CCRD, the County Recorder of Deeds, because people really need to slow down a little bit. You know, and we don't have to say names. People really need to slow down a little bit because people are steady going in the burning house and no one will listen. And so it's the same thing. And that's why the science is looked at something bad. Why? Because the small people that's putting it out there are wrong. That's why brothers and sisters wear the fez or afraid to wear the fez. That's why brothers and sisters are afraid to wear the fez or wear the fez or not wear. Why? Because what's being promulgated. Somebody said so true. You know, I said, come on. But now my noble Alonzo, you see he's standing bright with his black fez on. Alonzo was chaperone. He'd go anywhere with his fez on. That's what I'm telling you why, because we light. It has to be taught the right way. We have to take all these brothers and say, nope, that's not science. And we have to be willing to be educated on wisdom from love and stand corrected. We can. You can't be sincerely wrong and say, well, I disagree or I sincerely disagree. Not with this. You cannot. You cannot say, well, with me and my brother, we do it a different way. Why would you want to do it a different way? Tell me why. Why would you want to do a different way with how Alonzo bringing it and delivering it to you? This blue magic. You ain't got to touch it. You ain't got to do nothing. All you got to do is sell it. You feel me though? No, Alonzo?
Indeed.
No, I'm just saying, because brothers, I have to put this out there. I said, come on, brother. We understand how the Moorish Science Temple of America, how Noble Drew set the temple up. That's why I didn't try to redo the temple and say I'm the Moorish Science Temple of America Inc. or the Noble Temple. No, because I'm from the Moorish Science Temple of America, regardless of people how they feel. But I have my own temple and school, and at my temple and school, we're gonna teach, we're gonna build, we're gonna bring everything out, we're gonna bring the best out of you, we're gonna hold ourselves accountable, and we're gonna purchase some things. Why? Because we already doing it. When you already doing some stuff, all people can do is enhance what we're doing. That's why everybody on here should be motivated.
Islam.
You know? And that's why I be telling people, we got to get out that semantic stuff. You know? I get the sayings. You know, I tell people, I get the folk tales. I get all the comments and all this. And I said, okay, but we still don't have nothing. Why? Because it's still the next move. We can talk about all the quotes. We can talk about all the ayahs. It still have to be something behind it. Why? Because there was something behind it when the prophet was moving. That's why he was saying these things. Why? Because people were using their money to put things together. How you think they had the temples? How you think the Moorish Science Temple of America is a historical place in my city of Flint on ML King?
Islam.
This is what I tell people. So we can't just be talking about our prophet, you know, with all due respect. When he said Allah already gave it to the prophet, so no need to do it or our way, because he brought us everything to take. I get that. I get he brought everything to take. Okay, but are we using it? Because when we say that, what? We talking about what? Organization. That's what we're saying. If the prophet brought everything, if the house built Noble Alonzo and the furniture is in it, which I agree, okay, so why are we not doing it? It's barbershop talk. Why? Because we all here, we doing it, but the prophet had physical temples. So if I say, hey, I'm a temple in a school, we can create our own thing, a group of Moors, to where you don't got to fall for Fugazi. I've been through the fire. So if we know the semantics, if we know, well, oh, the prophet gave us all this, well, are we using the tools, or do we just got them in our bag and walking around like I'm a toolman?
Right.
Because it means something to me. Alonzo, you always talk about we connected by cords. See, this is the cipher I love. You know, when people talk, I say, yes, okay, but now what are we going to do? Because if the prophet brought us all this, the prophet is the peace be among his spirit. The prophet is not here in the flesh anymore. Okay, so now we prophets, we angels, we here. What we doing? Are we just going to talk about it and say, yep, that's church. That's barbershop talk. That's tradition. We can go through all the good, not saying it's bad tradition over Alonzo, but we saying that's tradition. What? Because we can go over to ayah. That's tradition. What? Our most American prayer. That's tradition.
Right.
Now I'm talking about action. That's what we're talking about. So I get everybody say, yep, that sounds good. Well, yep, Islam, amen. I get that. And then we go back out in the highways and the byways and we feel good after we said something with no action.
Right.
When we put nothing behind nothing. This is what I'm talking about. Everybody can say something good. Everybody has. That's why I said everybody has. That's what this cipher is about. Noble Alonzo.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has something to be good. That's what's here. Now, what's the next level? Because I've been there and done that. Alonzo is an elder. I'm an elder. We've been there and done that. We've been there and done that. I told people I ain't marching. I keep telling people that I said I've been there. A melanated man killed my brother. Now I'm all about action. You see? And that's what I tell brothers. And I say, no, man, it's too many of us to not be doing something. We're not having a competition. That's why we get, like I tell people, this is not a conscious community. We way past that. What we do, we bring brothers together and speak on topics. And if we are to agree on some things, if we are here to agree on some things, then that means this is the uniting of Asia. That means we can have a small thought and be like, man, we universal. Why? Because look at what the creator did. All my moochies, we are from different states. We are coming to agree as one. What? Under sound wisdom. So you telling me, I said, you're going to stay lost at sea? Just like I say, how can you have a grand master, per se, that's on his travels, that's on his travel as a seaman, and every time he come to the city, or if he don't come to the city, you don't welcome this man to the city and say, we're going to have this brother come teach.
Got to.
And I'd rather say, if Morris got paid to debate, we'll be super rich. And see, I wouldn't debate. I'm glad with these questions here. I would never debate no one on nothing. I don't care how much, no one can pay me to debate, because that's a lower energy. And I would want that on me. Why? Because debate don't mean the person that's given the right wisdom will win. It never is. You can be the most boisterous, but this, not, and the other. A lot of people really don't have that aptitude if we're dealing with academia and scholarship. Why? Because I can show so many instances where people fail to it and it blew them up. That's why I tell people, you will never get me into debating. I'm an elder. I've been there. I keep telling people, I said, I may look young. I'm getting ready to be 50. I done been there. I never debate no one on nothing. Why? Why? Because I know I don't want to disrespect no one on live camera. You know? And words is meaningless if I know better than that. That's why I'm telling us, we already rich. That's why people don't understand it. And I'm glad we're saying this, Noble Lines. I know we got to get out of here, but these are good questions. When people say, if we debated, we'd be rich. So that means, who would we be debating? Watch this, Noble Lonzo. We'll be putting money together for people to debating. So who would be rich? Who would we be debating? We're already rich. Why? Because we already giving our money away to Uncle Sam. Everybody on here work. Everybody giving their money collectively to their religious and charitable contribution of your choice. You can have anything. So we are rich. We talking about community business. Individually, we have nothing. It was never for us to have nothing individually. That's what this tribe was about. We supposed to been in tribes. That's what this is always about, a nation in a nation. But people miss it. And we got into these new concepts where we do things that's modern, debate, box and fight, compete. Because who we going to debate? I always ask people, who are you debating? Because if a person say, if Morris got paid to debate, we'd be super rich. And I say, debate who? And if that's the energy that we'll get out temples, and if that's what we're learning, we in a lower platform of learning, because debate is like competition. And how we going to debate on what? Right. I'll be proven right every time.
Right. Noble was the highlighting is the fact of the semantics.
You say what, Noble Lonzo? I can hear you.
I said the Noble is highlighting the fact that the semantics is running rampant. You know what I mean? That's the concept. That's the attitude. A lot of times where we will gravitate to so-called what we call verbal masturbation amongst each other. It's so for self-gratification. So look at me, look at how much I know, you know. But as you learn and as you study, you begin to develop a sense of sight, and you know that the more you learn, the more you don't know. You know, that's the concept. But what the brother said is what you said. It's highlighting the state of you know dysfunctional thinking that a lot of us are in and under. We got to come up out of that. Islam.
Islam. You got to come up out of that, man. And it's good to just have these conversations after we finish our teaching, because we go through our day, and I always talk to Moors. I say, it only takes a little for me to pick up on a vibration. It only takes a little. And I say, are you disgruntled? A lot of people be disgruntled. How? For the words and from the things that we say, we still in that mode of debate and compete. Why? Because if you were speaking on someone else, like if we were in this mode, then you saying, are you adding yourself? And all text, debate is a lower state. In all science, debate is a lower state. That's wisdom to anybody on here. But we got caught up in this what? Only people talk about debate because they get that vernacular come from conscious community stuff. And everybody have to be honest. And once we be honest with things, we'll be okay. That debate stuff came from conscious community, because scholars don't debate. You ain't never seen Dr. Bean and John Henry Clark or Chancellor Willem debating on Tony Brown journals. They was on there talking together, debating Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda, because there's nothing to debate. If we scholars and we educators and we got the same mission, what elders that you seen in any group of time that we read and study debate? I don't name me any, Noble. Have you seen any? This be real.
No, sir.
Thank you. That comes from that conscious community stuff. That come from that lower energy. That's what I tell people. Scholars don't debate. What is their debate? Man, I only debate my equals. Or others I teach. Like John Henry Clark said, I said, I'm not going to waste my time for nobody becoming up there with that semantics. What scholar educator debates? If I'm going to debate another scholar coming from their Eurocentric or Negrocentric propaganda, then I'll do that from scholarship. But why would I waste my time doing that with someone coming from a religious perspective? You can't change no one that's stuck on that. How you going to correct someone and they trying to prove something with the Bible? I said, man, I'm not getting ready to do that. I'm not going to ready to do that, because it's easy for me to illuminate text when people don't know etymology of words. When a person say, well, it's finished, we're not fulfilled under the law, and the Christian dude was doing this, and a lot of my elders that know me, that follow me, that's in church, they was like, Sheik, boy, you got to get your own. I used to be in church when I was younger, and I said, well, that's a Greek word called pelero, meaning to magnify and bring back to this remembrance. They was like, oh, so they just teaching false doctrine. Yeah, because that's what people do. A lack of study. So there's nothing here to debate. Think what I'm telling y'all, man. So these conversations is good. Why would any God man debate instead of teach? And if that's the case, all y'all brothers should be coming, and we sharpen each other. This is what I be telling brothers, man. Noble Alonzo, I love everyone. But when everybody had these bays and these L's, and then they say, well, they part of this, and I say, well, where do you study at? Why don't brothers know a lot of these basics? And I'll be like, everything we talking about is prerequisites. We done, man, we done, these are thoughts that's gathered and compiled and sat in this is history. So a lot of people, it's new. A lot of this stuff is new. Like we got a lot, like Alonzo got a lot we can put and gather, and people will be in awe. Not in a way like all that, but in awe. Why? Because we should be. We should be in admiration when our brothers have divine wisdom and divine understanding. You should, because that's what this cipher is about. Now it's time to go to the next level. So with that being said, man, I give y'all honor, man. I give y'all glory. All y'all on here, all our information in the inbox. Like I said, we gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared a plethora of books. My noble Alonzo book is coming out soon. My noble Brian Higgs Bay, he put a manual out a while ago. It's called What is More Science? I'm going to put that out in a minute. Somebody said, I have no religion, I have nature. Islam to that. Like I say, I'm not here to debate what nobody have or what they don't have. That's why I say I'm not orthodox. I never get into a debate with someone what they say what they have. If you say you have no religion, you have nature, I say Islam to that. And that's why nobody have to make that statement to me, because I said I'm under the triple roads. I have clear understanding of everything. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to say, well, this. I didn't say that. I said if I'm under the triple roads and I understand and I understand all creation is created, no matter how you look at it, then I have respect and love for whatever that's manifest, seen or unseen. So when a person say they have no religion, I have nature, that's fine. But then I start asking people specific questions. When something happens or something happens, do you say, oh, nature, please don't let this happen to me again? I always ask people when they say, well, they don't have no religion or nothing, they have nature. And I say, well, when something happens or when you say a tragedy or something, I say, will you cry? Yep. And then I say, what do you pray to? And I ask the person and I say, do you cry and say, nature, please make this happen? And people be laughing and say, you're right. So that's what I'll be telling people. We say things, but do what we say match the inside? And it's no disrespect from no one, because when tragedy happens, do we switch? When people say they self-made, and see, I don't deal with these things. When a person say they self-made, like, I'm not here to argue with no one. That should be on your own platform, because if you say you self-made, then that's your own understanding. And that's disrespectful to the birth cycle. So we're not here to argue with you when you say you self-made. Peace to you. That's all I got to say to everyone. I'm not here to debate, but if that's how you feel, then so be it. That's how you feel. Then you don't have a clear understanding of the birth cycle if you say you self-made. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And see, that's what people say, we don't follow leaders. That people clearly don't be listening. And I love these conversations. There's no leaders here. I've been said, that's why I be telling brothers, man, I say it's messed up for us to see a group of brothers, a study group, a group of brothers that wisdom and build and love with each other and use resources to purchase land to do things. That's the thing, because that's what they're used to. That's what a lot of people are used to. But if you come into things and you might be an apprentice, and my noble Alonzo might been there a little longer than you, he's gonna take you under your wing. Why? He's no leader, and we know this. That's why I tell people, I say we lost. That's why a lot of the young men is lost, because they don't have examples. That's why we be lost. That's what's wrong with when people that's what's wrong with the whole generation and with our people. That clear example. When this person said we don't follow, we don't follow. We leaders, brother. So leaders follow, and vice versa.
It's only you how to learn how to lead.
Yeah, that's what Markel. Yeah, that's what Brother Barkel said. He said every leader started as a great follower. This is what I be telling people about energy. I know where people energy be at. They get that from watching other people's videos like Bobby. Oh, we don't follow, we don't get to know leaders and all this. Yeah, I hear him, but you listening to him. I said, we are great people. Who else you gonna learn from? Who else you gonna learn from but your brother? If you learning from someone, then you following that. If you following someone here to great wisdom, and they say, are you a follower of that type of thought process? Yes, I'm a follower of that. What's wrong with that? If somebody say, that, are you a follower of the BBT, or Mufti, or the BBT, or a Noble, a lot of them gonna say, yeah. What's wrong with that? And then we always make reasons and to make it messed up for our brothers and sisters. That's a problem. That's a problem with me. We study, we don't follow. If you studying something, you following it. See, the stuff don't make sense, and I'll be knowing this is the thing. This is the ego. Like Alonzo said, a lot of times we steady be doing it. I say, man, people haven't lived enough. You ain't experienced enough to be doing this. And this is what I'll be telling people, the audacity of us. What's wrong? Well, what's wrong with us being guided? What's a prophet and an angel in our base of our one-on-ones? That's why I be telling people the stuff you saying ain't Moors. It's what your own understanding. I was born in myself. Okay. Well, what is in our one-on-ones a prophet and an angel? Noble Alonzo. What does our one-on-one say a prophet and an angel is?
It's the thought of Allah clothed in the flesh.
The thought of Allah clothed in the flesh. So that's what I be telling people, man. They can keep their lower level energy somewhere else. This is what I be telling these brothers. I said, no, because you're not willing to learn, because you want to be a dropout. You want to be lost at sea. And this is what I be, we students of this. Of what? Easy to be swayed. Easy to be swayed. Why? Because it's almost like Curious George. You know what I mean, Noble Alonzo? Curious George. Oh, yeah, he had a spot on her. Yep. It'd be like Curious George and not understanding truth. So we make the excuse, well, I'm a student of what? Of what? How can I say systematically teachings are you part of? What systematically teachings are you part of? How old are you? What are you learning? What have you studied? What is your background in language? What is your background in history? What is your background if we study stuff? And where are you studying at? What school of thought are you studying at? You see, all these things a person can say none. No disrespect, Noble Alonzo. None. I watch some videos, which we know, because I can see the energy and I can see what you're saying. That's how I know it's not science. And that's why I say we don't look at our people as great men. All we got to do is all we giving respect to is the people that's the martyrs. We don't look at none of our people that's in the flesh that teaching as no one we can follow. And that's why I say I'm accepting in academia. I'm accepting in a red state where most Moors get disrespected. That's why I be telling brothers, I say, dude, because we're not willing to learn, and others are willing to learn from their own brother. And we say we don't want to follow. And I always say the copy you. I'm revealing everything. And that's our problem right there, Noble Alonzo. I've been proven right every time. What? The psychosis of us. If we'll be analyzed and take our brain, they'll say the Negro is a beast. Why? Because thought process right there. What we saying? You have a great mind, you have a great person, and you say you're a part of this in the flesh, and you say, well, man, we don't follow. Why wouldn't you? Tell me why wasn't no good man? They meet a good brother, and this is everything you want. Tell me why you wouldn't follow. Tell me. Give me one good reason. Your ego, because I'm following.
Right.
Because I'm following all the way. I'm going right with Alonzo all the way. And this is what I be saying with people. I be like, man, you wrong. Oh, we don't follow. But Alonzo leading the way. And you don't want to be a part of that. People follow Malcolm, people follow good men. That's why I'm saying, what you mean as a follower? You're not a groupie. Who say you a follower? You're a part of this body. It's one body, many parts. That's why I said brothers need to learn a little bit more. What is one body, many parts? A perfect pentagram. The head don't say to the foot, it want to be the foot. This is a perfect pentagram. This is what I be telling brothers. And that's why I go back to the root of my conversation. This is why we won't come together. Why? Because our brothers, the mental is messed up. You got brothers that's Masons, that's Muslims in secrecy, and then you got brothers that'll say they made themselves and they don't follow nothing, this, nothing, the other. Why? Because that's the dilemma and that's the condition that we've been conditioned to. Instead of jumping on the sources with brothers that can lead and be a part of the leadership and be a part of the body. That's the problem right there. When someone comes greater than I and your whole dojo don't know how to do nothing but fight like a dango robot. And here it is, Alonzo come in and he know all the forms. He know how to work with his hands and he know how to defend. And you get caught up like that. So it ain't about what nobody have to do. You know, when I tell people, it ain't about what nobody have to do. And I tell people, when you come in the house of wisdom and understanding, your spirit, your discernment, you're supposed to already know that. You're supposed to already know what's happening. This is what I'm saying, the body of work and respecting elders and respecting the wisdom. This is what I be saying. This is what I be telling people. I said, we lost that seed. What, the ego? Oh, I got to debate. I got to depend on that. You don't depend on that when you send your kids to this or when you be disrespected or when you're doing all these things that's detrimental to your health. This is what I be telling us. That's why I said we so picky. That's why I said with our own people, damned if you do it, damned if you don't. Why? Because this is what you get with our people. When someone bringing you truth, in fact, if we so stuck in that, well, I got to go sleep on it. Why? And you know everything fits. You trying to find something that's bad, that's our issue. We don't do it with nothing else. We go get them nasty McDonald's and them Burger Kings and get all that stuff. This so good. Yeah, right. That's what I be saying. That's why I say be damned if you do with our own people, because this is the excuse we do. And everybody that's here, everybody that's in the whole place know this right. Everyone. And then we always have, like on Sesame Street, one of these kids is doing their own thing. Now it's time to play that game. That be the problem. And I'm not saying it, I'm using it as an analogy, Noble Alonzo. That be the problem. Where you grow up in somewhere, you be a part of it, and you got the wisdom, and we still rebel. That be the issue. That be the issue. You come in a room for the all righteous brothers that's on the same plane, and then you leave out the same way. Oh, I ain't catch up on the vibration. And everything was there what you looking for. I know you ain't catch up on the vibration. I know people just know how to read. They don't know how to apply. I know this. because a lot of people I ain't on that level. And I would say, yo, I'm reading. I know people read. We know. But do you know how to take that data and information and then use it and make it applicable? See, that's a whole nother level. So I give honor and I give love to decipher, but my point be proven all the time. We have got caught up, Noble Alonzo, in a mis understanding the ish or these things. We took in the negative connotation, and that's why we don't communicate. That's why we don't come together. Remember, it was illegal for us to come together. We had to have an overseer in the middle of us. And then today we still won't choose to come together and make that an excuse. Man, that hurts my heart. And I know these be young brothers because y'all all on social media. And to say something, that's going to be the disconnection when a young brother will say he can't be led. I just use it into, like, say if we was in the streets, gang, how's you gonna be led in that? If you in a fraternity, you that, like I said, I'm just using those as concepts, Noble Alonzo. That's why we messed up. That's why we messed up right here, because of divide. Why? Because you would hear a person willingly say they don't want to learn by a teacher or a master and say they trying to learn Wing Chun and they dealing with a Wing Chun master. But they say, no, I don't want to deal. I want to learn. Well, I want to learn from a Wing Chun master. No, I don't want to learn it from a Wing Chun master. But you studying Wing Chun, getting your head knocked around. Like the irony of that, Noble Alonzo. And then a person that say, well, I gotta go ponder on it. On the Wing Chun that you teaching. What? Like you check, see what I've been teaching forever, you know. And this is the thing with us, man. We are lost at sea. I give everybody honor, I give everyone glory. But until we look at our brothers and self in the mirror and see God, and when man honors man, we honor Allah and pick on that vibration, we lost that sea. And I just got to keep proving it right. Because people will call you elder and all this, and then in the same word, still try to challenge what you're saying. That, like, to me, that's ironic. And I don't get this in no other community. That's all I'm telling you, man. I said it's people that ain't really did nothing in their life, you know, of work and did nothing, and still get these things. And I'm bringing something back that I done lectures with professors, written literature, like real talk, and still it's like, what else do I got to do? And that's what I tell people. What else do I got to do? I've been doing this for over a decade, over 10 years. Coming back, bringing people information, you know, on a solid foundation and saying we can do the right thing. This is gonna happen. What else? I'm not here to convince no one. You say this is what you under. That's the problem. Why? Because the spirit, we won't submit and be part of this community. That's why when people say they Moors, you need to see how the temple was set up. And the same way how my school is set up. Brothers just don't know. Brothers just don't know. You see, we can do this all day. It'll take too long. That's why brothers need to come to class and learn. All y'all need to be hitting us up, hitting my Mufti Alonzo up, hitting us up, so we can come together, for people can really come up. But for us to have that ego, and for brothers just to be saying, oh, they self-made and all, and they don't follow this and all that, that's the problem. How you gonna learn something if you want to be work with your hands and say, well, I'm gonna learn this on my own, and someone there to teach you? You got to follow their teachings. That's why the Creator said, build a tabernacle a certain way. But you're not, well, I ain't gonna follow that. That's crazy. Alonzo tell you how to build a manual the right way. You say, well, I don't follow this. He's showing you the right thing about helped you how to be a stand-up right man. Oh, I ain't following Alonzo. Oh, I study. Oh, I learn. No, Alonzo's showing you how to study. He's saying, follow these teachings, young man. You know? That's why I tell brothers and sisters, we should be slow to speak a lot of times. So I give y'all gratitude once again, Noble Alonzo, man, for y'all time. I give y'all gratitude. Once again, I give y'all gratitude. But sometimes when people say things and then when others speak amongst it, we're not used of someone saying things and say, well, okay, well, this, not and the other. We're not used to that. And that's why I tell all young people, everybody, you are sure of yourself. No one's going to get me or you caught up in linguistic apartheid because they choose to bow out of something that they start. You have every right to stand strong. You have every right to say, well, no, sir. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be sharp, regardless how anyone feels. And that's why I say sometimes if you don't have anything good to say, we are taught to keep those words to ourselves. I'm telling you. I always say these things. Why? Because it's too much good to bring out. It's too much good in the things that we do till we always bring out the same negativity. That's why. That's why when we do this, I say it's too much good about us that we only talking about the small tittle of us that's done made a bad move, or it's that energy when a person try to be there, you know. So I'm not saying you don't what you say. I don't disagree, brother. We need to work as one. I understand that too, and I give you love and honor too, Supreme Being. I give you love and honor as well. But it'd just be like if you were taking a class and I teach a specific way, and I say, well, just like I tell everyone else, maybe my specific teaching style is not for that individual, but you have to take it in love and in stride. Why? Because the word should be able to edify. The word should be like a double-edged blade. The word should be able to prick you if it's something that feel that way. That's a beautiful energy. Now take the keys and build. That's what I tell people. It's like that's the whole resurrection thing. That's the whole quickening spirit. That's the whole aha moment Noble Alonzo talk about when that halo over our head. But sometimes we are in the wrong spirit to accept it. You have to be in certain dimensions to be able to accept things. And if we're not in that dimension, that's the lower self. Anybody will tell you that's in a higher self, they'll be like, this man is given a gift. This is what I tell people. The first thing of accepting is you have to be in the spirit to even see it's a gift. You have to see what's being said. And sometimes, as the scripture says, our heart is hardened like Pharaoh. We're on the defensive. What he saying? What he saying? No. What is he saying? Wait a minute. He's giving me keys. He's giving me keys. Remember, I always say, I understand the curiousness. I get that in all men. That's why I say, brother, if we were sitting having a conversation with elders, that we not here disrespecting you. What we're doing, we're adding value to. We're having a conversation for you can understand levels that need to be reached. So when you don't have an expectation, how you're in the moment. When we talk about what? Well, I hope for this, I pray for this. No, when we're in the moment of Allah, we are in the essence. So I just use that as an analogy. When I used it as a reverse analogy, that's why I say I speak in the heavens. So I know when people are literal, when they say they learn I want to learn all in hunger for wisdom and understanding. I say, well, that can be an issue. What do you mean? I just gave the analogy of water. And then when a person said they wanted wisdom so much, and we dunked them in the water, and they came and they said, "Oh, I want wisdom," and I put you in there. What you want, bag? I want water, and I use that as an analogy. What's inside have to match outside. A person to say that thing, but it's really not. Those actions are not displaying. Why? Because what comes out. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying if this is way on the axis, that's what we'll have to. That will be the outcome of the information that we will put in. That's all Sheik's saying. From love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's what I'm saying. So the heart must be pricked in a certain way to say, well, I need to learn the basics and X, Y, Z. Not to take it and say, well, the person is chastising me because it ain't nothing to chastise. We're sharpening. We get into the cipher with the brothers that love you, and it sharpens your tool, and it takes the anxiousness away. It takes the expectations away. Why? Because you're living in the essence. You're working in your progress, so it's nothing to yearn for. Why? If you're living in that wisdom, if you're constantly doing it, because you can always add value to. That's why it's called perfecting. It ain't called to perfect this. It's called perfecting. It may take people a lifetime to get there, but you should get into the lifetime movement. You see, but you should get into the lifetime movement, and you should connect with people that's on that level. I'll give you an analogy. If we was on here hustling, you from the hood, you would be like, man, them hustlers, they get money. They the dough boy in the neighborhood. You would be following them. Why? And I'm just using it in an analogy. What you mean? You want, oh, well, I'm studying, I'm learning. Like you a journalist. No, you ain't. You following them. You trying to be a dough boy. Like, what are we talking about? The same way, oh man, I used to be in the gang and all that. I'd be like, man, are you tripping? So you won't take that same energy and that same effort, Alonzo, and wrap it up in something that's good? The first thing we say was, I don't do this and I don't do that. That's the issue. And so as I close, let's bridge that gap, young noble. Let's bridge that gap, brother Markel Bay. That's what I want to say. Let's bridge that gap, supreme being of Illuium. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Let's bridge that gap. We right here. And I come in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We can bridge that gap. How? With us right here. Everything that we saying we need to do, we can come together and do it. So with that being said, man, I give y'all gratitude. Alonzo, I give y'all love, noble. And we out of here. I just want to put brother Markel on here and say peace and love to you, brother Markel, as I close. Peace and love to you, noble. I just want to give you honor and love, and you know, Because I know you've been around for a while, and I love my brothers. And I said, I know I might be a little older than a lot of y'all, and I'm from Flint, Michigan as well. I give y'all honor and love, regardless if we never seen each other, man. But I give you honor to what you're doing. I give honor to your family, and may the benefit of Allah continue to protect you and guide you and manifest everything that you do, Noble, and all the brothers that you touch that bring out of the sound of your voice, out of the sound of my mouth. If they're willing here to learn and hear some things, they're more than welcome. Because I know they know that you are a good witness. And I know that they know that you know that your fruit is very well that's attached to your tree. And I give you honor as well, man. So I just wanted to say that, Noble. I know I'm a man of few words, but I always have to give men honor. Always.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, and everything you do, Mo. I appreciate everything. We need you out here, Mo. We need you for real.
And I'm saying I'm willing to come anywhere, man. I'm willing to come and just shake everybody's hand, show brothers how to do some different things, Noble. Show some brothers how to put some different finances together. Show some brothers how to operate in a different tax bracket. Not to change nothing, but be like, wait a minute, we can do this. Yeah, we can have our own temples when brother getting out of jail and under tax bracket. Yeah, you got brothers that know how to work with your hand. Yeah, we can do it. Yes, 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 we can do these things. Yes, yes, we can do these things. The same way other things are set up. We just don't understand it, and brothers don't talk about it because they begging. We don't have to beg for nothing. We giving it away. And I'm gonna show how we giving all our money away. And then a lot of brothers think they getting a tax return. I'm telling you, you can be like, dang, she. I'm gonna show you what the Sopranos doing. I'm gonna show you what all religious organizations are doing. When brothers talk about tax exempt, I say, don't you know your organization is like that? That's how you can build things. That's how you buy. That's how you have a religious community in your neighborhood. So it's so much, Noble, that we can do. And I'm here for all the real stuff. I'm not here to debate no one. As a person said, hey, I'm here to people can ask me anything and we can just talk about it in a real way. We can talk about what not to do and what's been done. And if we may be confused or if it's some brothers that may be getting ready to do something or don't have the, how can I say, courage to speak about those things, we can talk about those things as well. You know, that's what we're here for. But also, we need to go to the next level. And so I said, as much work as you're doing in your area and being part of this Science Noble, bring nobles together. I mean, bring us here. Like I said, I'm willing to travel anywhere. I'm willing to put any work together. Brothers, put it together. I have a plethora of wisdom, a library that people, if you travel with your tablet like I do, I'm more than welcome to give you stuff for free or small donations if that's the case. If you want turbans and fezzes and tunics and stuff that I have on, I provide them. I have a warehouse. I have a company called MorrisHaberdasher.com. I'm a designer. My noble Alonzo on here, he ALO Design Pros. So we doing a lot. So if y'all serious, brother, we here. If y'all serious, brother, bring brothers in. We here. Let's really get on the next level. So we've been on here for 2 hours, man. But anything y'all want to do, anything y'all want to put together, we can put a cipher together. So I give you gratitude. I just wanted to say peace to you, Noble.
All right, peace and love, Mo.
Peace and love. So with that being said, Noble Alonzo, I give you gratitude, man, and your family for taking up 2 hours of your day. Tell the wife I love her. Tell her I won't do it too much, but we got caught up.
Islam. No worries. Islam. I would like to say gratitude and love for the teachings and for the time and for the spirit moving. You know, as she brought out, and as we always say, no man is an island unto himself. For every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. You know, as the Holy Quran puts it, blessed are the pure at heart, for they will love, and not the man love in return. They would not do unto other men what they would not have other men do unto them. But watch this, they're two selves, right? The higher and the lower self, right? We know that the higher self is 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 human spirit clothed in the form of Allah, and we know that the lower self is 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 the reflection of the higher self distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. So that distortion is what we come in as the BBT and as Sheikh Kyrie to dispel the distortion, to try to recover. And as the Holy Prophet brought that, the man will regain his lost estate. So we working to reverse the delusion, right, that the flesh has put us in. So with that, I say peace and love, and we going to accomplish that by Allah's grace. Islam,
Islam.
Allah, The Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our God, and our salvation, by night and by day, through our holy prophet, Drew Ali. May the benison of Allah be upon thee and thine, always, as thou shouldst strive to be the credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield and the manifest battles of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the locks of the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft, for behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconstancy, there still is the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, Al-Haq, Ya Muhammin. And at the BBT, when we say Al-Haq, that's Arabic and it stands for the truth. And when we say Ya Muhammin, it's Arabic as well and it stands for the protector. We at the BBT see ourselves as truth protectors, and we cast our net out to all true and divine light seekers to come and join on to us, for the truth has no sides, for the truth is one, as man is one with Allah. With that, we say peace and love. Islam.
Hey,
Peace,
Alonzo.
peace. Yes, sir.
Look, I hate, we got to get out of here, man, but somebody that asked me, talk about please, sir, please. Hold on. He like, my dad is here right now, and he's arguing with me about that Masonic stuff. Like, he don't know this, and he did go to the camp in Florida. Do you have that saved? And he was like, everything you saying is true. So here you go. Here you go. As we close.
Calling that at home.
Right? So it ain't nobody can be mad what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what it is.
What it is.
What are you doing?
Adhan, call it a prayer.
Look. With all the nation. Am I right, y'all? What I'm saying? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So I hope we have some gratitude what we doing. I told y'all, man, it's no secret. The veil has been removed. Regardless how no one feels, we come in peace, love, and light. Once again, at the BBT, we right here. And we going to stand on it. I love everyone. But here it is right here. Here it is. Now what? So I love y'all. Thank y'all for y'all time. You know, what do you say? All tassels pinned down. Yeah, I keep showing you. Like, you can't be mad at no one else. Like, I can go deeper, but it is what it is. It's all the Osiris mysteries. I love everyone. Like, so we've been on here for 2 hours. Y'all support our temple and school. All our info in the bio. So we can do some real things. So we can have a real brotherhood. We can have our big conventions. We're getting ready to go to Puerto Rico in January. We can have our own conventions and do our own Islamic prayers and everything the right way. But I told y'all they study you in secrecy. So peace and love. We out of here, Lonzo. Take us out.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of me. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun. It's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I